What is up, guys, and welcome back to Behind the Kit, episode 11. Today's guest is the legendary Mike Mangini. Oh yeah, my friends, this one is very special. In this video, we talk about his dedication to education, his vast experience playing the drums, and his brand new educational resource, The Lab. I'll have that link down in my description, but guys, this is a video you don't want to miss. Mike Mangini is a legend within our industry and our community, and he has been giving back to this community for his entire career. So guys, this video was so much fun. It was an absolute honor to me to get to meet and interview a legend, and this is one you don't want to miss. So with that, I'll stop talking. Let's get into the interview. Here we go, Mike Mangini. All right, well, welcome everybody to Behind the Kit. This is Kyle Smith, Arizona drummer here, and I am joined by none other than the legendary Mr. Mike Mangini. Welcome to the channel.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. Happy to be here.
Great, great. Thank you so much. I know you were just doing some master classes, so yeah. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
But again, yeah, of course, this is an interview, but it's also more of a conversation. You know, I think we're both drummers, we're passionate about the instrument, so we'll just go wherever the conversation takes us.
That's what those master classes are all about. It's all about people being served. I don't show up and dish out some kind of agenda. Like when we get into it, if any questions are about actual physical stuff and hands and feet, or you have them, you'll see that how I approach it isn't to speak like I'm speaking at somebody from my perspective. The way that I do it is I take information. It's funny, my hands are going this way. They're in my books. It's like, I didn't do that on purpose. That's funny. So I take information and communicate it. I'm in the middle saying, look at, there's a lot of lies. We don't know the lies, the truth, all out there. You know, it's this whacked out world full of deceit, and you don't know sometimes, but there's a way to find out. And as far as truth about how things work, you can have all kinds of opinions and whatever, and that's great. However, there are some mechanics to evaluate. So my way is to say, look, I'm just somebody also hitting it. I'm no different. Check out this and tell me what you think. So that's my angle on it, is just to present information, because incidentally, those books, and now my new lab, which is live, I'll tell you about, and I'm interactive, and I've already responded to like everybody. I think everyone's freaking out because it's so one-on-one. But look, I'm just somebody in the middle, and those books, the videos, they come from students coming up with things, going, I'm not so sure about that. What about this? They go, oh, well, let's test that. So anyway, just to know where I'm coming from, and for your listeners to know where I'm coming from, that's where I'm coming from. It's not, but hey, this is what I found. What do you think? If you don't think it's the right thing or there's something flawed with it, let me know, because I'll change what's in there if I have to, make a correction, you know? So that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's great. And I think, you know, a common theme through all these interviews is learning from our mistakes, you know, constantly learning. We're constantly evolving and changing. And I do want to get to the lab, so we'll get to that in just a minute, because I'm really excited about it. But I think a good place to start is just your background. For those who aren't familiar, you know, take us back. How did you first get started on the drums? And was there like a specific moment, song, experience that just kind of lit that fire in you and said, this is something I want to do?
My older brother and sister used to play albums. My sister would play more in the Motown kind of vein. My brother played the horn rock, like Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Chicago. And he bought me a Buddy Rich album. I was 9, I believe, that Christmas, 8 or 9, and said, learn it. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like people hearing that. But hey, that's the big brother going, do it. And so I you never saw me for a while. I'm in the basement trying to figure it out. So that's how it started. I was 2.5 when my brother and sister played music, and I grabbed cans and set them up. At age 3, my dad got me a toy drum kit. At age 4, my grandfather got me a real drum kit. He was a sax player. And it was the kind where the drum heads had to be soaked, like the film had to be soaked in water and put on and then screwed. I mean, I'm like, I'm 4. I'm like, can somebody help me, please? It was pretty funny. And then a cousin gave me drum lessons at age 5. Turned to me, this is mostly Beatles. This is Beatles, and then all jazz from there. So it's Beatles as the background, and then we're talking like listening to a lot of jazz, but with Motown fused in and horn rock. And then rock and roll didn't happen until I saved some money and I bought this album by a band called Boston because I liked the cover, and it's Boston. Okay. All right, so that was that. The feeling from that music was like, okay, it is more than a feeling, right? And then I saved some more loot and bought Led Zeppelin 2. Those are the first 2 rock albums that I got, and from there, that's that. I could break it down, I suppose. I'm getting better at not taking 7 hours for an answer, but you get my point. I was nurtured along, but then I stumbled upon it. I then joined that Columbia house where you got like 865 records for 3 pennies or something, or a penny, whatever it was. And so one of them that showed up was this band called Rush and an album called A Farewell to Kings. I put that on, and I couldn't afford even in headphones. You got to understand that that stuff that I appreciate so much, I had to wait every Christmas or birthday just to get a piece of gear. I wasn't working. I mean, even when I could have worked, I was practicing and like selling bumper stickers, for crying out loud. But you get my point. It costs money to do it. But I listened to A Farewell to Kings with car speakers that I wired to act as headphones and listen to some other stuff. Anyway, I guess that's the point, is that it was like the Beatles, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Chicago, Buddy Rich, John Bonham, Neil Peart, Terry Bozzio with Missing Persons, and just some other things that I heard. So those 7 guys basically shaped me. I'm a derivative. Your derivatives are never greater than the prime, and it's so funny to have any one of their things pop out, and like if you're honest, you go, well, that's not really me, but it's fun.
I know exactly what you mean, and to your point, we're all kind of derivatives of all of our influences. My kind of it's more than a feeling moment was Slipknot's self-titled album. Listening to Joey Jordison and hearing this combination of heavy metal and groove, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what it's all about. But what's interesting is like your musical upbringing almost kind of mirrors your the diversity of your career. Like you've done everything from thrash metal, fusion, prog. I saw the Corey Wong videos with Zildjian. Oh my gosh. Like I think I've watched those videos a dozen times, but also I've been watching your videos since way back when YouTube first started I remember the Rototom kits. There's the big Pearl solo where you're wiping your face with the...
with rhythm knowledge, yeah.
For me, one of the things that I'm fascinated by and also appreciate about you is the fact that you are able to inject your personality not just in your playing, but even in your stage presence. Like again, wiping your face or making the funny faces and jokes. And you're a very seriously technically proficient player, but you're also hilarious. And so I'm just curious. Like how do you, with such a diverse career, how do you kind of find yourself in each avenue or genre, and then how do you still continue to, infuse your personality?
Let me use a metaphor instead of blah 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 blah. What I think of it. If you have a good sized magnet and a paper clip, you have no problem believing whatever processes happen to make that paper clip go to the magnet. You just see it and you go, okay. nothing's weird about that. I get it. Like, why is that a thing? Well, it's because the processes are, electromagnetic, and it's within the, this four-dimensional kind of existence for us. I like physics, right? But there's a whole another six below it that the bulk of the world agrees. So again, I'm just spewing out. I'm in the middle. I'm not the one making this stuff up, okay? Who knows if it's wrong or something? I don't want to be a goon. But it seems that the people that know agree. So anyway, here's my point. That there's something else that pulls, and it is like a magnet. You feel it. You actually feel it, but it doesn't. You can't measure it or anything. So that's what is happening to me. Is I'm getting pulled into things, and when I sort of I don't know. A lot of times, if I try to put myself in a situation, that doesn't work. But when I get pulled in, which had almost nothing to do with me making an act, I find myself in those, and that's your answer, is that I've been pulled into these things. I don't know, I wasn't the one that gave me those albums, but I was just told to learn them, so I did. I joined school band, and I wasn't the one that chose the teacher that worked for the public school system, who ended up being the greatest human drum teacher that I think ever walked on the planet, Walter Tokarczuk, ever. Because everyone that studied from him succeeded. Everybody was able to play at a very high level at a very young age. So was it us, or was it him, or was it, there's a combination there, you're getting pulled in. So that's my point. I found myself in these situations just trying to play the drums. And when I say that, in the way that I just did, those drum sets came to be because of a vision of musicality having to do with orchestration, okay? Someone hits a low note on a keyboard, I'm not going to hit a drum that sounds like a chihuahua, right? Or a tiny little bongo. But when you hear those little toms from the great Prague players, or even in marching band, they have the tiny ones, or wherever you hear them, concert band, they have a feel, but they go with the higher notes, so that's my whole thing. It's something's pulling me. The shape of the drum kits, the music, the situation. I get somehow pulled into a situation, and sometimes I put the seeds out, but it's other people that have to make these decisions. That's an answer, but
Yeah.
I don't know, the music has spanned just straight up rock to as far big band as you can go, and then of course that includes some of the Latin genres too. Jazz band, jazz combo, always had Latin music put in, but what does Latin mean? Because there were branches of it, so when I became a professor at Berklee, I really dug deeper into all of it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, so I was at Berklee, part of my career, 11 years as a professor. Why? How? I was pulled into that. I didn't say, hey, I would like a job. I was pulled in. You get what I'm saying? And so little did I know that all of that study with the Latin genres from greats there helping me, including almost 35 dual clinics with Horacio Hernandez. Somehow, what did that do? Now I'm in a band called Monolith, whose background has Latin patterns, and look what happened. It's just one of those things. That's probably way too long of an answer, sorry.
No, trust me. Again, this is a conversation. We could talk about whatever we want to talk about, and I could not agree with you more, right? Like, if you are working hard, dedicated, and passionate, and you are committed, right, to, I think all of us listening, and then you and I, to just playing the drums, like that's our motivation number one. But if you're true to yourself and put yourself out there, opportunities will come. And I like the way that you said that, in the sense of it's, either dimensional, what some people say faith, some people say it's the universe, but you can feel it though, right? You can feel that there is this draw. And I'm curious, well, I feel like you were just about to say something, I'm sorry.
Because it's the same draw to complete something, to finish something, to act on something. There's a pull that's real. Otherwise, how could any of us, without that, which is essentially the love of something, how could any of us get through all the obstacles that we have to face without that? We already make excuses anyway to not do certain things. Maybe that's a sign we really don't want to do certain things, but there are things we have to do, you know? I don't want to have to clean whatever. It's like you can, like I've cleaned the facility, and then as the natural process is, things go to chaos. Things don't go to order. They go to chaos. We have to make things go to order. You understand? So that call to complete is a really, really good sign. It's a really good quality. And whether it's completing a song or completing, I don't know, just getting into a style of music more, or some move on the drums, or working with certain people, whatever it is, you want to kind of make that happen, you know, and finish your projects or whatever, or complete something, just from here to there.
Exactly, and it's just doing the work and having the discipline when you don't want to do it, right? You don't want to clean or whatever it is. Have the discipline to get out there and do it. And I think one of the things that we have to dive into, and you mentioned it too with Berklee, but it ties into all this, is education. I think that education and Mike Mangini are synonymous for me, because you have been a consistent force of giving back, uplifting the drummers, creating opportunities for us to learn and take on from your guidance. And you know, you've built an incredible educational database, and I think we need to talk about it. And I believe you called it the Lab. And so I'm hoping you can kind of walk us through what it is, you know, how it's designed to help drummers, and then we'll dive a little bit more into your specific technique and things like that.
All right, well, first of all, the premise of the whole thing is to have hope, but in a way that affects your will. In other words, when we believe something, it changes a lot. When we have meaning with something, the hippocampus and the brain opens up. So there could be meaningless practice. That's why we've all done it. We've all wasted time, wasted years, and who out there has worked on their feet for forever, and maybe they get good and then see you later if you don't keep up with it. Premise. The premise is the belief. How do you do that? It can't be for nothing, you know. Something has to make you believe in something. So I put the examples out that are verifiable, that are testable, 100% by 100% of the people. If one person didn't succeed with something in those books or in a lesson, I addressed it, and every single time what happened was whoever didn't succeed, depending on the timeline, was they weren't doing it. They weren't doing what I was saying. They thought they were. I'm like, no. You got to look here. You got to think this, feel that. You know, turn that way. Then it worked. Or if it was early in the process, that's when I collected information. What's working for people? I wonder why. And it made me study cognitive science and things like that, because I certainly didn't get it right. And I can tell you that at the beginning, especially teaching, you know, I had to figure out that thing. But it wasn't just how to tell somebody something or communicate it. It was more that I had to know that I had the right answer. You know, the truth wasn't, but then, well, how do I know what's right? You know, how do I know what the truth is? Is it relativistic? Is it relative, or is it relativism? There's a big difference between those things, you know? There's different finger lengths, and the way that we might play a song is not the same relativistic thing as, well, it doesn't matter if you grab and squeeze like this, because it does. It does. That's not something you want to do. Anyway, so the whole thing about rhythm knowledge is at the top of this hierarchy, three-dimensional hierarchy, is will. The great thing, to boil it down, like if you were to edit this, which we probably won't, but if you wanted the one-sentence answer, it would be, you can change your will. That means the way that you work. You can change it by knowledge, by learning things. But what kind of things? The way that they actually, results, first of all. So your will changes when you get results. Now, you can feel that with any one of a zillion possible things you could play on any instrument. How do you know which one to go to? The one that calls you. You liked a certain kind of music, right? Something pulled you. Well, okay, so that's an opportunity for you. That's a key for you to get in and learn that without somebody else telling you, oh, you know what? You know, that metal stuff, that rock stuff, it's not, and all the speed, it's not, quote, musical. You should learn this instead. You should get on a pad and do this instead. Yeah, like that hippocampus is going to go up. Now, if someone gives you a reason, They give you a reason, like, if you do this, then these things happen. That's great. That's a good case, you know? So anyway, you get my point. The will changes from any one of your experiences. Would you get results, or how do you judge the results? It's what you see, what you hear, what you feel. You're not going to smell or taste this, so there you go. Now, that's the premise. That's the premise, is to change the will and the belief. So the lab, let me answer that question. So you can mark it on your video, like, what is the lab? The lab is what I think is the first, if it isn't, whatever. I think it is. Whether it is or it isn't, it is to me. It's the first video database that is curriculum and module ordered with my interaction with the guy. And now, when you triangulate that with my books, when I say triangulate, that's GPS, that's targeting. I programmed the training software and the Patriot missile system for a little bit. Yeah, well, I did the documentation, and then I was a programmer. I just learned. I wasn't one of the guys designing it, believe me, but I worked on it. So anyway,
Yeah, wow.
it's targeting by triangulation, you know. So you've got my books, you have the video courses, the modules, and then you have my interaction. That's why this is a vital thing, because the lab is doing two of these functions, you know, where the books are something you can just pick up. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely, and I think that it's great, especially, so maybe give us a little bit more information on the interaction part, because to your point, I can go on to the lab, I can follow the curriculum, watch the videos, pick up the books, kind of, again, supplement that. You know, what can the learners experience when they're interacting with you?
Great question, and I should answer that like point on, and not, because it's so deep. But it can also be misconstrued. So anyway, what it is this: there's a point to each of the modules. There's an ultimate goal for everybody to become who they want to be, but then there are sub goals or objectives. The experience in the modules is to walk out of them having not only learned about something, but learned about how to train it and then how to use it to get results, such that the point of the hands module is not 57 different techniques, but is a training grip to strengthen muscles. You understand that? So when you finish that course, you've got 3 muscle groups being hit: the ones that hold the stick, the forearm, and then the bigger muscles, in modules, in order. So what you do is, when you come out of that, you've experienced the whole system. Now, the way that you prefer to hold the stick with the fulcrum in different places is okay, provided you follow those rules and don't get injured. Do you understand? So the experience is, you come out having seen, felt, and heard what it is you need to be able to then make your hands become who you want them to be, okay? Mm-hmm. You can reach your goals. You understand that that's the experience. Now, the importance of the lessons and the training and the feedback is because that doesn't happen intellectually. So you go through the courses, you do it, and you go, I got it. I mean, wow, because that's what my students experience. They go, oh my God, you just saved me 20 years. I know, because it's saving me time. But you come out and you still have to practice. So Rhythm Knowledge 1, at the back of that book, this is how to schedule, this is how to manage your practice. That comes from a management course I took in college. Now, why did I take that? Got pulled into it. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I even in this place? Go figure, right? Go figure how important that ended up being, as opposed to me being in a music school. Think about it. My father said, you can already play. Like, you won everything in the country, which I did, competing, and I don't want that to sound the wrong way, but it was all school stuff, jazz, bands, drum contests, all of that. So I won them all, first chair. You can look at my bio. The point of it was that being pulled into that for whatever reason, or even told, like, you need to go try out for this. I'm like, well, I don't really, why? Okay, fine. But my father's like, you can already play. Go learn something else. And it's interesting, I came out of that college with management techniques and software engineering, and look at the books. So you read the books and you do that, but then that's not the same as a video. So the experience is you're going through the modules and learning and coming out with something. You're coming out with something that you have to have with the foot module. You're coming out with a way to play one pedal or 9 or none, okay? You're coming out with your feet, having absorbed something and learned something that can branch into different derivatives. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not telling anybody with the hands module, you should play like me and hold the stick like this and do that. The fulcrum is here, by the way. It's not here. It's over here. It's over. Anyone that says that is just, I don't know, they're very, let's just say, divisions here. They're not getting the whole thing. Because I did that. And I know, I'm like, wow, why did I say it was always in the first knuckle joint when it doesn't have to be? When I actually played shows at Dream Theater with gloves, it had no fulcrum at all.
Yeah.
Right? None. Zero. It just, the stick was like this, like a baseball bat. So you get my point that the experience isn't, I'm trying to tell somebody, hey, you're not doing it right. You should do it like me and do this, 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 and this, and this, and this. I show all that, but I'm like, this is the point for your hands. This is the point for coordination. This is the point for your feet. This is the point for your entire body. This is the point for rhythm. This is all miscellaneous lessons, a ton of them, the applications and, Dream Theater parts and other parts that I've come up with. And this is what it is. My solo album, there's just a ton of stuff in there. That's, some of those are just fun. They're just one-off fun. And there it is. It's like, it's deep. It's not like, well, the lab experience is this. You get in there, you pick what you want to learn, you go through the modules, I interact, you make sure it's okay, people interact, you make sure it's okay. If you need a lesson, it's available. And then you come out with your will affected, like, I'm now going to go be that. I want to do that. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is something that, especially younger drummers, they don't always focus on the muscle connection piece of it and the fact that you can hurt yourself. And longevity is the name of the game, right? We want to play this instrument as long as we can. So if we're not focusing on, again, to your point, regardless of how I choose to hold the stick, I still need to be smart about how I hit the drum. And it's funny, it reminds me of the Time Warp episode that you did a long time ago, where you're hitting the drums and cymbals and it's slowing down in slow motion, and you can actually see how you're hitting I think it was cross stick, I want to say, but you could literally see it, and you could see that there's no stress going on up your forearm. And again, that's the key to longevity, I think.
Well, that's a deep discussion. All right, so let's talk about a few things. Who is the lab for? What is this about? What you think is me being relaxed? And what about all these adages that are out there? Okay, so who is the lab for? It's not for that perfect person that doesn't need it. That is the type of person that says things like, well, I don't have to think about it. I could just do it. Like, great. Yay. Good for you. Because there's a bunch of things that I couldn't do. So I needed to come up with a way to do it. I happen to love working with people that are like me, that enjoy going to someone saying, hey, look, I don't get it. I can't do this. Help me out. And then I have the answer for them. That's like a great life right there. My world is not for anybody that knows it all already and that can play everything. It's the best, the fastest, and this, that, and because I'm none of these things. So it's not for those people. Or what about, look at Buddy Rich. He didn't take a drum lesson, I don't think. Was cranking it out very young. So what's up with that? Great for him that he came out with all the stuff he came out with and went and did it. Does Buddy Reed need to go, or would he have needed to go to my hands module? No, but I'm not saying he does. This lab, who is it for? It's for people that, I would like to do this and I got a block. So I'm going to unblock it, or the information is going to unblock it. So what about what you said about the hands and the training, and you saw me on Time Warp? Okay, so I look relaxed. If I totally relax right now, I will fall off my seat, because there's no such thing as being fully relaxed. There is no such thing. That is patently false, easy to show how ridiculous a statement that is, because you have to flex certain muscles. Now, are you talking about muscular relaxation? Are you talking about emotional and mental relaxation? You just have to say what you're talking about. It's like saying, okay, so, gee, Monolith uses Latin beats. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Because if you're an Afro-Cuban person and you mix inherently Brazilian rhythms into it, you're out. It's okay in my book to fuse it, but if you're in an Afro-Cuban situation and you're throwing in things, or it's in the reverse, you're doing a samba, but you put Afro-Cuban clave in it, look, there are certain people that are going to usher you right out the door, like, dude, bye, that's not Brazilian, Anyway, so you can't just say that's Latin, and you can't just say relax. Can't say that, because the term is very broad. Of course nobody wants to be like this. Okay, I got you. I agree. But certain muscles have to be flexed. So when you're seeing me or anybody look relaxed, you have to divide that and say, well, wait a minute, that person has a ton of strength, so they don't have to exert energy. So emotionally and all that way, they appear relaxed, and they are relaxed in that way. But the muscles are not at all. There's strength there that was built. I mean, if you think about it, at one point, I had to because my hands module teaches how to flex certain things for strength. I mean, it's like lifting weights. How? I mean, I'm sorry, but if you and I want to build up and be muscular, and we go to the gym, let's just go to the gym and just look at everybody working out. Let's just watch the machines. And then we'll leave and go have beers. Is that going to work? Or do you have to go and push the weight, right? So these players that can play all kinds of things have pushed the weights. And I know I can't sense how strong my hands are. Like this, you could bust a 2x4 on it. I can't sense that when I have a pair of sticks in my hand. So I'm going to say to you, if I'm not the guy that wrote that, if I'm not the guy that has been the educator and Berklee and done all these things, if I'm not that person, I'm probably going to say, oh yeah, I'm relaxed, and mean it. But it's not the truth. The truth is, hold on a minute, I'm giving the appearance of it because I gained so much strength. And when I was gaining the strength, I was anything but relaxed muscularly. I was actually, forcing and moving and flexing and turning to navigate on that kit. You see what I mean? And there are so many adages out there. What about don't think? Don't think. Thinking is bad. Let's put that test. Let's test it right now. All right. I'm going to not think and let it flow. I'm just going to let it flow on the drums, okay? But I'm going to start here and not think. It's not working. Do you get my point? So when we say things, we've got to be clear what we mean, because there are people out there that need information. Like I'm like a Commodore 64. Well, my family calls me that because I need specific. If to go to the store and get this, yeah, but where is it in the store? But I need what is the name? I can't just get, there's like 5 brands. Which one? You know what I'm saying? So some people need very specific directions, and you can't just say, okay, go, let's say I'm hungry right now, okay? Go get me some wings at Wild Wings. And then someone comes back with all drums, they're fried extra with all this batter on them and all this sweet gooey sauce. I'm like, no. I meant get me the mango habanero. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be kind of specific with that. You can't just say be relaxed. What's relaxed, what's not, okay? You can't say don't think. That's not possible. We don't have a switch to not think. But what is meant by that? Oh, okay, don't overthink. Great, now I'm with you. But overthink what? Like, you can't just say these things that people are being influenced. It's like, don't think about this. That can lead to these results. Maybe think about these things that lead to those results. But nobody's written it down. Well, I have because I have to teach. It's like if I say these things to these people, they're gonna possibly go down the wrong path. If I don't say everything specifically and they take one of my things, they could potentially do the wrong thing on their own and end up hurt with something with the hand. So I'm really clear on how not to get injured. But you get my point, right? That
Absolutely.
Are you getting a flavor for what's going to happen in this, what's happening in this lab. I mean, I've answered all these emails already. I got a batch of emails with what bothers you? What do you wish you had? What's your biggest issue? And I answered every single one of them, you know? But it's with this in mind. So when I answer, I check the reply to say, was that sufficient? Not, this is what I think, there's an answer, bye. What if the person doesn't, and it's happened, like, I don't know what you mean. I tried that, it doesn't work. I was like, but did you try it this way? Oh, no, you know. So it's very, very back and forth. And now, if that person tries something, they now have a result, and it works. They have a result. What happens with the result? Their will is affected. What happens when your will is affected? Now you go search for more knowledge. Be it that you can play, it's more physical, it's more innate, whatever. But look, if you don't need something, then this isn't for you. If you have it all together, great. I mean, yay. I wish I had it all together like everybody. I'm not the best. If you look at all the drummers out there, and the top ones that do something, and they're at the top of their game, how many are the best at all of it? Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even say who's the best for the Rolling Stones, and there isn't anybody but Charlie Watts. And if you argue that, okay, you can mimic, you know what I mean? You can start to get crazy with an argument, but you get my point. It's just like, let people be people. Let everybody have their day, have their time, and then let's look to them and everybody can win. So that you, Arizona drummer, can be Arizona drummer and not me. But you can take stuff and use it to help you become you, and then I can see you play and go, wow, I didn't think of that. That's a really cool thing you're doing. That's the joy for me as a teacher. But wow, that's great.
Yeah, I love that, especially because it's freedom, right? It's
Yeah.
I have these ideas in my head, or I have these things I want to do, and I don't have the tools or methods or resources to get there. And you're not only giving it with the books and the videos and the actual content, but you're also saying, hey, if you have questions about what that means, let me help you and let me show you how you can measure success. Because to your point, if I can measure success and I can see it and feel it and hear it, like you were saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to be motivated all day long to go in there and be, okay, well, what's next? You know, how can I do this?
Yeah.
How can I do that?
Yep, and it's going to be evolving. See, those books evolved, and the way that I teach has evolved because of the feedback. If it was all about me, then people would turn out like me, and I hope nobody turns out like me, exactly for a lot of reasons. Like, no, you don't want to. I mean, my struggle in my life as a musician of all those years, my struggle was always, why do I have 16 trillion 461 billion 852 million 936,012 ideas all the time? Of course I'm exaggerating, but why? That's because what I am was searching. And I was asked by a musician once at a younger age that said to me, oh, you could be really good one day, but you don't, what is it? How did he say it? Like, I don't, I'm all over the place, basically. I'm like, but I don't know why. All I know is I have to be. All I know is I have to try. I don't know, but I have to have the courage, courage to go in and try. And go, I don't know that this is any good, but I'm going to try, and I don't know why. I don't know why I want to go backwards up the drums. I don't know why. I think it's hilarious to put things where they don't belong. I don't know why I'm such a goof and a goon, but maybe my sense of humor is what has helped carry me through, other than family support and faith and all of these things, and being pulled and carried along and almost watched out for and kept out of trouble or kept out of certain things that could have led to who knows where. I don't know. You get what I mean? So it's interesting stuff, but who do you want to be? Like what is it that you want for your playing?
For me, and I'll tell you a short story. I played professionally until 2012, and then I had my daughter, and so I kind of hung up the sticks, but I kept playing just on my own. Came back to it in 2020 when the world kind of stopped, and I said, hey, let's do YouTube. And really what I want for my playing is a few things. One, I think we could always be tighter. We can always be a little bit more focused on, especially in the past, I was more focused on quality over quantity. So, getting the practice in, whether it's good or not, like you mentioned, saying yes to maybe some things I shouldn't be saying yes to just to get the experience, or just not really putting myself first and my craft first. It becomes really easy to forget that drums are fun and drums are a passion, and drums are a thing we love. And so for me, it's all of those things, but then also, where do I see myself is another question. And I see myself kind of doing a little bit of what you're doing, but not as talented, in the sense of trying to give back to the industry. And that's where this kind of Behind the Kit series came from, is
That's what you mean by what I'm doing, not necessarily playing 17 tuplets on a 6-inch Chihuahua drum, but what I'm doing is educator and a player. Okay, just wanted to be
absolutely
clear.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, to your point, like how we play is our personality, right? And so you're going to approach a song differently than I'm going to approach a song differently than Joe Schmo's going to approach a song. But one thing we can all do is give back and help uplift the community and teach. And this whole channel and the Behind the Kit series is about accessibility to people like yourself who have experience and knowledge and have gone through some of the trials and tribulations. And how can we help lift up our fellow drummers and teach them, some things that maybe you can't always get access to, if that makes sense.
Right, and speaking of that, I have been, I'm in a new place, and I was very excited. I have been excited to be in the place that I'm in as of a day ago. For a while, I wasn't able in my career to make things happen. I didn't have people around me to do certain functional things correct, to get them right. I didn't have that. I didn't have the time. So would you put all that into the mix, okay? Now I can do more of these. I would not have done this before. There's probably a long list of people I was not able to have a conversation like this. And it wasn't just that, well, I don't have the time, because you can make time depending on what, but it's a lot. It is, well, I don't have the time because I can't, I only have this much time to learn these songs and go out on tour, and I'm tired. The hotel Wi-Fi doesn't work. It was always something. It was always something. But now that's been cleared out, so people have access. They can reach me and they go, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to have you on. I want you to talk about this. I'm like, and whoever will see it, and then I see it. It's like, yes. It's not a no, it's a yes. It's like, say yes, because it's fun. And I'm doing this now to build the community. May I add, I'd like to help. Part of me doing these master classes and being involved in person, but with local stores, to be with the local store and help the local community and go buy something from your local store. What do you use? Well, I use this and this and this. Like, they can ask me in the lab, what do you suggest? Or I could say, well, what area are you in? Oh, you're in this area of outside Cincinnati. Great, go to Badges, or this place. So, whatever it is. And I'd like to help that and build that. So the players get to know each other. People in the lab get to help each other and make comments. I get to make comments and do this and do interviews like this and be clear. Who's the lab for? Well, it's for people like me that I didn't pop out of my mother like, okay, great. I could do all these things. I'm the guy that popped out and was learning blood, sweat, and tears and just followed the notes, but sat back even at a young age and went, something's up with this thing. It was a polyrhythm, right? Like, what is this? I don't get it. Like, my timing is, I don't have any, I'm floating. I don't know where the time is, So I didn't get polyrhythms with pure talent innately. No. So this is for people like me. Or my hands didn't do a certain thing, or my feet definitely didn't do a certain thing. It's like, I might as well just quit, right? No, I'm reaching out to people going, don't do it. And I don't care how old you are. Don't do it. If it's calling you, I'll help you. This will help you, excuse me, and then I'll do my best. but that's who it's for. What is it? It's a training of the basic modules we need to do that. All the basics of that. I'm going to build on that, but I had to make sure this was built and it was done and the videos were made before I could really put it out there. And how does it work? It's a triangulation. You have books that have information. Everything's in there. There are so many exercises and combinations in those things. I couldn't possibly do them in a lifetime. Never have. There are too many. So there's plenty for me to do, right? There are the video modules that take you through what you've got to have rhythmically, understanding of your body, the way that you move pedals, the way that you move a hand, and then you have the interaction. It's like, wait a minute, I wouldn't do that because if you squeeze that, you're going to get tendonitis, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, I learned about the lab as I was working with your team to get this scheduled. And when they told me about it, I was like, to learn from you specifically, not only, again, you're bringing decades of experience behind the kit, over a decade of experience teaching at one of the most prestigious music schools in the country. So what a great experience, right, to be able to do that. And I think one of the things you mentioned is you're like, I didn't come out with talent automatically telling me how to do these things. I did the work, I got in there and I was curious, right? I heard something or I felt something that was didn't feel right or I couldn't quite get there, and you did the research, you gained the knowledge, and I think that's so important, like being willing to accept that there are things to learn and that there are gaps in all of our understanding and playing, and having that curiosity to fill those gaps, I think is just so crucial.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, there's something called talent. That's a gift. That's for free. You got that. It was dealt in your hand. Okay? So we have some hands that have 2 4s, and that's the best poker hand of 5 cards. Little do they know if they do certain things, there are 2 4s waiting for them. Okay? We got people with nothing. We got people that show up with the 4 jacks and a 2. That's a lot. That's a big gift, but what do you do with it? So there's talent, and then there are skills. You just have to recognize who and what you are. Like, you know what? If people who are watching this want a free lesson and a free example of all of this, like really put to the test with the most important thing that has forever been said, you have it or you don't, is improvisation. Because improvisation is, no, that kid doesn't have it. He doesn't have, you choke them. They don't have it. Well, I turned it into a science, and I even, that grid video, I think it's, that I don't know, I haven't heard of anything winning awards in the drum community for 2 years. It's only because I think a magazine, I'm talking magazine stuff, picked it up later. Otherwise, like the same thing's not going to win another best whatever it is later. But so I did a couple of years in a row on that because I made it into a science. They get a free lesson. It's right on my Instagram and Facebook. They just click on it, get into it, and then you start improvising based on some things, and it works. It's not the whole grid. I mean, it's not the whole huge DVD of it, but it's like, look here's the grid. Here's what it looks like. This is what it does. Watch me use it. Like, it's that quick. I don't have a big explanation like this. Hi, my name's Mike. This is the grid. Yay. This is what it does. Hey, watch me just use it. Boom, 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 boom. Blah, blah, blah. Boom, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Did you see that? Do you got it? Great. Try it.
That right there is the key. Try it. Just don't be embarrassed. Don't hold yourself back. Obviously, get the tools you need so you're not going to hurt yourself, right? You're holding the sticks, what's most comfortable for you, all those different things. But once you have that freedom and that fundamental understanding, go try it. Just go play. What sounds right? What feels right? That's the biggest thing, going back to like, this is fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's a musical instrument, so like don't put too much pressure on yourself, especially if you weren't given the best hand, when you started. But there are more resources now than ever to help drummers. They just need to know where to find them, where to get them. So like to your point, I'll take your Instagram link and all that, and I'll put it in this so that anybody listening to this can just click it and go straight to it and check it out. Because again, it's just so valuable. And I think one of the things that's interesting, and just to talk about you and your approach to the instrument, it's very, the word that comes to mind is like almost like biomechanical, like, because it's very symmetrical. It's very, because you're thinking about how your body is creating the sounds, creating the the composition as you're building, and you are, I believe, ambidextrous, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm not ambidextrous. I trained my left side. I couldn't. All right, so two things. The thinking that I'm doing lessens the more I think when I practice. So if I practice and I think a lot, and I think about all kinds of things, a ton of thinking, more thinking than less. Tons, Home Depot orange buckets full of thoughts, right? And I do all of that thinking while I'm in that mode, and I do it enough, then I don't have to think so much when I'm playing. You see what I mean? It's not zero thinking. It's just enough, and then it can grow to the point that it's a feeling and you do it. You don't even recognize all the actual on-off switches that actually really happened in the brain that are all thoughts. That's what they are. But it's like you don't recognize it, you don't feel it, you're not aware of it, so it's like you're not thinking. But you're not thinking of all these steps because you did it over here. So when I'm improvising and doing what you said, it's very little thinking. The grid teaches very little thinking. And then what happens is if you cannot execute something, it's a sign that, gee, you need to go do lots of thinking to understand that and get it, and then you don't have to think so much. But you can't not think at all. You can't just sit there blank. I mean, seriously. So, yeah. All right, so you were saying what?
No, you're fine. It reminds me of just a minute ago where you're like, I'm not thinking, and we just sit here, because at the end of the day, you're right. Like, that's what practice is for, is to figure that stuff out. It's a puzzle. Like, how can I figure these things out? And again, I like to think of it as freedom. Like, have the freedom to go in there and just play what feels right. And I think that only comes with getting back there and just gaining an understanding of how the fundamentals and techniques are done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a development tool as well. I mean, that kit over there couldn't play anything like that when I set it up. Are you kidding? The kit itself was a tool, and I was working on it while I was it was the mid-90s, and I joined the band Extreme. So if you notice, there are videos with me, like at those big festivals we played, like with Aerosmith, where my kit had only a floor tom on the left, that like, I never saw anybody do it, except Billy Cobham would put stuff in different places. It's like, okay. And so that morphed into a completely symmetrical thing after I spent some years making sure my left foot actually moved. Like, instead of like, oh, it's the timekeeper, the hi-hat foot, which is not time. Time is something different than a leg or an instrument. Time is a different thing. When you figure out what is time, what actually is it, you have a better chance at getting it very, very quickly, or becoming very good at it. So anyway, you're getting maybe a sense or a flavor for how I answer questions. It's based on making claims. Like, what is this, first of all? What is this thing? What does it do? How does it work? Let's evaluate that. This is what I have found. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is it correct? Is it not correct? And why? And now we have to prove it. And so we have to come to a conclusion and then go, okay, because we have to make a decision. And I know that this is what I'm saying now is the complete opposite that I'm about to tell you, even with me. Like, let's just say, all of this studying, your thinking, the figuring it out, the practicing, what's it all for? What is that moment that we reach that can be attained without any of this? So in case then people out there have that, well, so-and-so could just do that. They're great. Like I said, yay, good for them. Yay, that's great. They're not doing a lot of thinking for certain things. Yay, good for them. Maybe they did a lot of thinking at one point. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have to. Again, great. So here I am saying this. Many things I just couldn't. I had talent. I have talent. It's with certain things. It's not with everything. So what happened then, all this practicing I was doing to try to get a one-handed roll. Never saw anyone do it. For real. I mean, there was like things, but not a real one. Not like, gosh, a roll. Zero. Not out there in the whole planet that I could find anywhere for years. So, like, I was just always thinking about it and trying things and breaking it down with lots of thought, with lots of analyzation, with blah, 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 intellectual, reading, blah, blah. None of it worked. None of it. Nothing of it. Nobody could help me because no one did it. So one night, I was at this drum clinic. He was watching this old guy, and at the clinic, he went in. He did a real one-handed roll that was like, and I went into his body and felt it. Now this is a dream, so I thought it was real because I was dreaming, but I didn't know I was dreaming. So I was in his body. I felt what he felt. I woke up at 3-something in the morning, snuck out of the bedroom, like opened the. This is in 92, 93, something like that. I opened the door. It worked perfectly. So check this out for a minute. 0 practice, 0 thinking, 0 study, 0 intellectual anything. All of it was to what? To get to what point? To where I felt what it was like. That's all that practicing does. We try all these things. You go, oh, I got it. Then you have to repeat it. But the funny thing is, when we get to something that really is correct, we don't think it is because it's different than what we thought it would be, or it's uncomfortable, or we don't have the strength. This is an amazing common sense view on this stuff. I hope it helps people. It's like maybe you did get it right, but you didn't have the strength to feel, quote, comfortable, so you thought, see, too much thinking now, you thought that you were wrong, but you were actually correct. So I dreamt it, I felt it, I did it, then went on tour with Extreme and did that, what now is a gravity blast, all around the world. And everybody does it now. And I'm not saying that could imply that it was me, but no one else did it. And I toured all over the planet. So I don't know, maybe that's because of me. Or, how about this? How about maybe other people had the same thoughts in different areas, right? And then, come to find out, when I started teaching at Berklee, Kenwood Denard, who teaches there, was doing he called it the wood roll. So there it is. I think it's out there. I think if we really want something, do we think about it, it somehow can come to us. But my point isn't quite that. The point isn't about me going out and doing it. The point isn't about half the planet doing it right now. No matter how they learned it. My point is, when you practice, you got to get that glimpse. And I was in the dream in this person's body. And the same thing happened to me again with a different physical thing. And I had a dream and zapped into someone else's body in the dream. Like it was like, I remember snapping into their whole body and then going out and then waking up going like, well, that was a gift, wasn't it? Because I didn't even try. So what I'm hoping my telling you this does is I hope it reinforces the first point, that I am not trying to tell anybody anything, that I am not coming from a place of, okay, I know this, I can do that, I wrote this, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. It's more, okay, at this point in time, I do believe what I'm saying. I believe that it's correct, but I'm going to put it out there for you to prove it incorrect, not just to help yourself, but to help me too. But I haven't had to republish anything yet, so, you know what I mean? And I'm not even afraid of like jinxing myself. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'll just next printing, I'll change something, or I'll announce it. Hey, this wasn't quite right, but who cares?
Well, exactly. And I think to your point, the goal is provide the best educational material you can. So if something needs to change, then it changes. You're still aligning with the goal. And I know we're like right at time. I'm not sure if you have a few extra minutes or if...
I do. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I'll do, though, because I have a tendency to hold people over because I talk a lot, is I'll skip ahead to some rapid fire questions.
Yeah, go.
And then we may want to talk about in the future a part 2, especially because I plan on jumping on the lab and checking it out, and then I can come back to you on part 2 and talk about my experience with it, so we can kind of continue to share it. So, rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to mind, what is a song that absolutely kicked your butt the first time you tried to play it?
Buddy Rich Diablo, because that had a drum solo in it, and I was very young. And I probably still can't play it. But anyway, go ahead.
I definitely can't play it. What is your favorite non-drum instrument to mess around on?
Virtual instrument keyboard.
Oh yeah. Do you do a lot of composing, like on Mac and things like that?
Check my solo album out. I wrote every note and every word of it, but then had people replay it. But I had the demo of it all being like all me on that virtual instruments until I was advised to not put that out. And a real singer came in and went, I don't think I'm gonna think this. Can I change this? Yeah, you can change that.
That's incredible. I didn't know that you wrote every note. I knew that there was a band that came in and stuff, but that's wow.
I mean, but there was license given to the musicians. I'm not going to tell Tony Dickinson not to do a move. In fact, I was like, hey, here's the line, because it matches the left hand, so you can't really go off of that. But there are moments you can find them. If you really need to embellish, do it. And he did, and it made it so much better.
Yeah. What is one underrated drummer that you think more people should be paying attention to right now?
I don't know that I can answer that. Oh, God, I don't know. I tend to not keep up. I don't know who's who a lot because I'm working, I'm doing stuff, you know. Oh my God, an underrated. I don't know who would be underrated because I don't know who likes somebody or not. I'm sorry.
How about?
All right, wait. Maybe in this day and age. Wait a minute. How about? I don't know how this is going to sound. How about Ringo Starr? There may be a lot of younger people wouldn't put him in their top 5, but yet you go listen to what he did, and you know what I'm saying? Watch him play. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, he's not underrated to the whole world, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe to that age, maybe an age group.
That's a very good answer, I think. Like very.
Oh, thanks.
I wouldn't have thought about that, but you're 100% right. I mean, as far as a drummer who's influenced all of us, indirectly or not, directly or indirectly, Ringo Starr's got to be in the top 5, as well as John Bonham. Like those two goes without saying.
Well, if I go and play a beat and I'll sit there once in a while and go, that's just Ringo. And then a piece of me wants to stop playing and hand him the sticks and go, you just do it. Anyway, what's another question?
Okay, this one is interesting because I know that you're a prolific double bass player, but double bass or single pedal, today, which one is more fun for you to kind of play around and explore on?
Well, a double, because to have a single would be like my only using one hand. Why would someone use one hand when they can use two? I don't get that, except that certain kinds of music don't need to. Mm-hmm. Well, at least historically don't. They could. Think about jazz for a minute. You get a floor tom. What about this pattern? Like six-stroke roll. What about that? Yeah. That works, doesn't it? Let's say it's a 16-inch floor tom. What's the difference if the kick drum is 18 inches? Sounds almost like that. Is that wrong now because it's feet? Why can't you do a solo there? Why can't that happen? You see what I mean about why not do it? But I get it. Also, there are some situations where the story of John Bonham's second bass drum being taken away by John Paul Jones. Like, you're not going to, no, we don't want that in the music. You know, stuff. It's funny stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I have double bass drums right behind me, so I know what you mean. But to the point you were just making, like, I just quick anecdote. Your approach to double kick actually really informed mine, because when I started, it was just speed, 16th notes, go fast, and then as I've gotten older, especially, just to kind of share, you can make really great patterns, rhythms, really enhance music by using it musically.
Of course.
Yeah, so to me, I'm like, it's another tool, right? Having 2 feet versus 1.
So we'll conclude, go spend some time in the lab, see what your experience is like. We can report on that, and then at the end of the day, wow, it's interesting even hearing questions from you with my knowing about a whole chunk of my life that nobody even knows about playing because it wasn't recorded. What was it? It's not on audio. It's not on video. All those jazz concerts I did, none of it. Do you know what I mean? There's no video. None of that stuff. There's no all those gigs, being young, and then the bands I got in. And I didn't video record a single Missing Persons concert. And I played with Dale Bozio, and did all that wonderful Terry stuff with rototoms and everything. It was such a joy. It was such a joy. And yes, I know it's a mimic, but it was still fun. It was, and I learned so much, from learning those songs. But where's the video of that? I don't even have any pictures, for crying out loud. It's the drag. It really is, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, and to your point, I've been fortunate. I've been following you for a long time. I actually got turned on to you. I don't know if you remember him or not. There's a guy in Arizona named Bobby Domings. I don't know. Yeah, so he turned me on. Yeah, he turned me on to you when I first started. This is 26 something odd years ago. So I've been fortunate enough to follow you that whole time. But what I will say is, to your point, there's a lot of experience there that I think we can, really dive into and talk more about. I know we're at time now, but maybe in a subsequent interview and to kind of shed some light on some of that stuff, because to your point, you've done so many incredible things in your career, and the humility that you share, but more importantly, the fact that you recognize, okay, I worked really hard to get here. I worked really hard to do the things that I did. How can I give that back? I think that's so crucial, because that is what makes our industry and our instrument, our brothers playing drums, so unique, is that we are here to support each other, and we want to help lift each other up and teach each other what we've learned.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you ever knew how many conversations Horacio and I have had, Virgil Donati and I have had, it's staggering. It's staggering, and many other drummers too. Dennis Chambers, I mean, I could just start listing a whole bunch. But those conversations are important. You're trying to help each other through things. You know that you're both trying to attain certain things, and you can help each other in different ways because you sacrificed and suffered and went down to that neighborhood that wasn't safe and said, hey, don't go down that street, go down this one instead, and try this and try that, and you help each other. So and I want that to be, it's like I mentioned names, and I can list a lot of them that are famous people, big names, but I want people to be no different than anyone else. Like, you're just a guy coming in the lab. Why are you any different than someone that's really, 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 really famous, or that studied with me? There's maybe 36 of them that are out there playing right now, right? And what's the difference? You're just a person. You can relate to me too, and I can help, or you can help me, and we'll see what happens. That's the lab.
Exactly. Well, then, you've been generous. You give me a few extra minutes. So
yep.
What I'll say, Mike, is this has been an honor to spend some time with you. I hope we can do a part 2 in the future, but I will just say thank you for making the time. Thank you for being available, and thank you for everything you've done for our instrument and our industry.
You're welcome. And what I'll do is I'll send you an address so you can send me $100 million via PayPal for the next interview. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, but I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
see, I got to use some humor, because it's humbling to hear that,
Well, I love the humor. Trust me, Austin Powers is quoted daily in my house. Thank you, Mike, and I'll let you know when this goes up too, and I'll share it with you.
Okay, that sounds great.